Hi, I'm Stella Winston. Welcome to Straight Up. My guest today is Theodore Allen, a historian and a scholar. He's written two books entitled The Invention of the White Race, and both of these books represent 30 years of extensive research and exhaustive research. Welcome, Theodore Allen.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Winston. I'm very happy and honored to be here.
May I call you Ted Allen?
Ted, yes.
Okay, Ted
yes,
is fine? Okay.
fine.
Good. You were in Washington this past weekend. So please tell us, what was it like?
Yes, it was on Saturday. I was with the largest of three groups. It was the one organized by the National Action Network.
So were you there to celebrate the inauguration or to protest the inauguration?
I was more on the protest side. Like, we carried signs saying, "Hail to the thief," rather, as you may have heard. And in the addresses and in the among the speakers, frequent attention was given to the base role that the Supreme Court had played in awarding by selection the presidency to Bush, and particular emphasis was given to the means by which African Americans and Haitians in Florida, as well as in other parts of the country, were disfranchised.
Okay. Now, you've resided in Brooklyn for some 40 years, but where are you from originally?
I was born in Indiana and lived there until I was 10 years old. After the rest of my time before coming to New York was spent in Appalachia, in Kentucky and West Virginia.
Now, you've had a number of occupations. You were a coal miner, a clerk, and a math teacher. How did you become to be a historian?
Since I was 4 years old, I've always been interested in the study of history. That interest was whetted as my great uncle, Billy McCune, taught me Marching Through Georgia, the song he had sung in the Civil War as a young soldier in George Thomas's army.
Do you remember the song?
Oh, yes.
How'd it
well,
go?
Parts of it. It's well known. Hurrah, hurrah, we'll sing the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, the sound that makes us free. And so we sing the chorus from Atlanta to the sea as we go marching through Georgia.
So he was responsible for
I remember him.
Okay.
And not very many people that I know have any connection with anybody who fought in the Civil War. Had while they were still living, and so I remember him.
Now, you're Anglo-American, European descent, and we live in the same neighborhood. And the neighborhood is predominantly African-American. And what type of reactions have you received?
Well, once in a while, a white cab driver or service person or other such stranger operating on the assumption of the supposed kinship among European Americans as whites has inquired how long I have been living there. It is my custom to reply, "I see you think I'm white." That usually leads them to another approach. Other than such instances, my experiences have been neighborly and normal.
Okay.
Some of my neighbors have bought my book. If I must be categorized demographically, I am a European American, more particularly an Anglo-American, but I am not white. I resigned from the white race some long time ago.
Which brings us to both your books. They're both titled The Invention of the White Race. Why did you name them both The Invention of the White Race?
Well, I wanted to stress that regarding the white race as not a anthropological phenomenon, but as a social phenomenon, an historical phenomenon, and I wanted to indicate further that it didn't just happen, but that it was deliberately formed. And that's why I use the term invention. And
because invention means that it was created to do a certain function.
Yes.
And now, both of them are named The Invention of the White Race, but each one has a different
subtitle. Yes. Volume 1 is Invention of the White Race, Racial Oppression and Social Control, in which, that's Volume 1, in which I give a definition of racial oppression independent of phenotype, appearance, the way people appear, and took the case of the Irish under the English in the early occupation in the 13th century, and then later in the 17th and 18th century, particularly the 18th century, under the penal laws, to illustrate a case of racial oppression which was not connected with phenotype, because between the English and the Irish there was no phenotypical appearance differences, physical.
So from what I understand, your premise is that racism is a unique result of the slavery on continental America, and that the use of white wasn't used until sometime in the 17th century. I think that's what I got from your book. And that there's a particular rebellion called Bacon's Rebellion that was significant to the invention of this so-called white race.
Well, you're touching on several points.
So, yeah. Well, what was Bacon's Rebellion? Why do you place so much significance on Bacon's Rebellion?
Bacon's Rebellion was started out as an anti-Indian war, but became a revolt of the bond laborers, European American and African American, and the poor farmers who had no land. They'd been formerly bond servants and got freed, but still didn't have any good land. And they joined together in this rebellion against the colony elite and demanding land redistribution and so on. And the thing that makes it historically significant is that African American and European American bond laborers joined together in this rebellion.
They fought side by side.
En masse, large numbers together, and fighting against their oppression, for their freedom, and for distribution of land. And that is historically significant because not only has it not been done again in these nearly 400 years, but it is significant because it shows that there was no white race at that time. The white race has to be monolithic or it's nothing. If the white race, if the European Americans, who are the ones who become white, split on this issue of equal rights or joining together with African Americans, then that's the end of the white race. And so I say this indicates that that's one indication, the most dramatic indication that it was not, that the white race did not then exist.
Okay, well, Mr. Allen, we're going to take a break, okay, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
All right.
Okay.
Fine. Mm-hmm.
Program is Huda Anisa. It comes on every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Channel 68 Cablevision, Channel 35 Time Warner. Huda Anisa is a program that's dedicated to women in all walks of life, as we are at the forefront of society. I always say behind every successful woman is herself. Sometimes we'll have the supportive counterpart, which means sometimes we'll have men on the program. Again, my name is Bashira Huda. Tune in to Huda Anisa every Sunday evening, 5:30 p.m., Channel 68, Cablevision, Channel 35, Time Warner. Thank you.
Back. I'm talking with Mr. Theodore W. Allen. He is a historian and independent scholar, an author, and he has authored two books, both entitled The Invention of the White Race, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And we were talking about Bacon's Rebellion. Now I have here a copy of what you consider the Rosetta Stone of American history. Now the Rosetta Stone was to archaeologists was the key to deciphering hieroglyphics. Now, why do you consider this particular document? Now, the name of this document is called Captain Thomas Grantham's account of his experience with Bacon's Rebellion from the 21st of November, 1676 to just after the 2nd of January, 1677. Why is this the Rosetta Stone?
Well, the application of this term to it is my own. I don't know anybody else use that term, but I consider it significant because it is a key to a reinterpretation of United States history, because take the white race out of United States history to be a different thing. But how did it get in there? And this indicates that it was not due to some hereditary affinity of English or European Americans, because obviously they were joined together with African Americans in a fight for their freedom from their bondage. And so if that is established, then from then on you have to explain, well, how did the white race come into being, and how has it, what was its purpose? Okay,
well, let's just read the key points that you have here, and then we'll go to that question. And it should come up on the monitor for our viewing audience. And you have just two parts highlighted. It says, the 2nd of January at night, Ingram and some of his chief officers made a surrender of West Point to me. I went to the colonel's West House about 3 miles farther, which was their chief garrison and magazine. I there met about 400 English and Negroes in arms, who were much dissatisfied at the surrender of the point, saying I had betrayed them, and thereupon some were for shooting me, and others for cutting me into pieces. I told them that I would willingly surrender myself to them till they were satisfied from His Majesty, and did engage to the Negroes and servants that they were all pardoned and freed from their slavery.